Hello, welcome to the presentation to explain the Worldwide Music Embassies, which is a career and business advancement organization, the only musical help organization of its kind. This particular presentation will go over some important details that you need to know about the organization to learn to understand it because it's very new, it's extremely innovative, and it's like nothing else that's out there in the industry. This may take some time to go through, but we do ask that you watch this video from beginning to end so that you can learn important details about who we are, what we do, and how we help. Our organization was started because of a great need within the music industry. There's a lot of people that need help, and a lot of them, whether they're brand new getting started or even established, we found that there's a lot of voids in the industry. Therefore, it was started to assist, support, guide, develop, educate, and protect individuals within the industry, as well as invest in them in part to help them to grow no matter what field that they are in. We don't fully invest, we invest in part for the things that we offer that would normally have a cost to you, but you will not be paying certain things that will be covered and sponsored by the organization, or you'll receive subsidies to reduce any out-of-pocket expenses. Now, there's two ways to utilize the organization. You can simply utilize the services, or you can apply to the organization for assistance and representation. There's no obligation to use the services division. You can use it without being a represented embassy client, or you can use it with being an embassy represented client. You do have to apply for representation and have access to a lot of the support resources and benefits that we offer, pending if you fit our 7-point criteria, which we will go over later in this presentation. If you are going to apply for representation of the organization, and we're going to be investing in you by sponsoring a lot of different support resources, benefits, services, teams, and so forth that usually have a cost, you are required to be registered in a mandatory music industry training that will train you on a strong foundation of understanding the music business and other things that you need to know to operate as a business in the music industry, being that the music business is a business. It's 80% business and 20% music is what we always say. Now, for the training, there are scholarships and subsidies that are available for the training and setup fee, and it can be achieved at a minimal cost to you, and they do have interest-free payment plans that we will go over briefly in this presentation, and there is another presentation that will go over the training in detail that you can ask for if you wish to apply after watching this presentation. Here's a chart to show you a little bit about what we do and who we help. This is just a short list, it's not everything, but as you can see, we assist recording artists, composers, and beat makers, or those in reggae and dancehall, as they say, rhythm makers. We do specialize in all genres, but we do have a specialty area for the unique culture of reggae and dancehall music stemming from Jamaica and other countries. We help musicians and bands, managers and management companies, record label owners, producers, production company owners, studios, music investors, and any type of music multimedia company, whether it's people who are doing videos or other types of services for the music industry. Now, we do have a lot of different divisions, and they include music industry training. We have a publishing division, distribution to the stores, booking division, management assistance, brand and artist development. We help labels. We have a label relations division. We have global exposure services, but more as a project management, which we can talk about in detail in your interview and orientation. They do have a post-production service division in the label relations division, and that can help with different services that you need, such as mixing, mastering, metadata encoding, scanning, ISRCs. There's also a YouTube division that's automatic for our clients. They do get protected on YouTube and make sure that they're earning from that, whether they are receiving the publishing or they're the master rights owner, because we do have a great support for labels. And we also have support for composers, musicians, and so forth. So there's a lot of support that they can get for receiving their earnings from YouTube, which can be a bit complicated depending on knowing the whole ins and outs of it. And we do have team support for that. And basically, there's a lot more divisions. There are many more divisions, and you will learn about them once you're approved for the organization. And based on your interview with whoever is going to be pre-qualifying you for the organization, when you tell them a little bit more about you, they will be able to assist you with learning a little bit more about the support that's available to you. And here's a list based on what I had just gone over, but it goes a little bit more in detail regarding the engineers. There's also talking about media personalities and MCs, PR and publicists, video producers, directors, filmmakers, and those who do marketing and promotions. For businesses, as we mentioned, there's support and training for managers, road managers, record labels, production companies, studio owners, promoters, agents, radio and TV and internet stations and sites. Basically, anything that you do in the music industry, there is support for you. Things that you need to know about the Music Embassies. First of all, we are a musical help organization, and to our knowledge, we are the only one in the world, from what we've been told by others in the industry. And if there are others, we are not aware of them. However, we know that we are the only one that provides such a vast support system. We don't know if there are any others that exist, but we do know that we are offering an extremely abundant amount of support, resources, benefits, and services. The organization was founded on a huge need that's in the industry, because a lot of people, from those who are just getting started to even established artists and producers, it was shocking to learn that they knew the creative side more and very little about the business, and a lot of things were happening that they didn't know, that they were infringing on rights. They didn't know that they're missing out on multiple revenue streams, and that's why our training is extremely important. And there's a lot of people who are in the industry and they have the talent, but they don't know what to do. They don't know how to get started. They don't know how it all works. They don't know who to trust, and they don't understand the industry as a whole. And that is the main reason why we were started. Also, there was a lot of talent that was going to waste because they didn't know where to go. And then you see these people who are up in age that they never did anything with what they were blessed with, and that's not something that we want to see happen. And that was something that really drove the organization to be developed and to be that support system. We assist people in all fields. It doesn't matter where you're at in the world. We have clients in almost every country. We specialize in music, and therefore, no matter what it is that you're doing, no matter the genre, and every genre has its own culture to it. Hip hop has its own culture, different from pop music, different from reggae and dancehall, and we understand the differences in the industries, and therefore we know how to assist no matter what genres that you are creating. Now, you must apply for assistance if you want the help. If you're just using the services division, you just simply pay for the services. There's no representation and so forth. That's not a problem. You will have different rates than those who are represented, because those who are represented will have reduced rates because they'll be eligible for the subsidies that are offered by the organization for those that we are representing. Now, if you are getting approved for the organization, and once you are in one of the representation divisions, what happens is you will be approved for 5 years of support, minimum of 5 years plus of support from the organization, and you'll have access to the guidance, the support, the training and education. There's ones that, yes, in the beginning you do have to pay for the one to enter into the program, but then there is an abundant amount of training, support, guidance, consulting that's provided to you at no charge. That is the organization investing in your career advancement and sponsoring you to help you grow whatever it is that you do. And once you are approved, you will have those 5 years of support, resources, benefits, and representation. Now, you also will have access to support teams, and basically you have a question, you need something, you don't know what to do, you always have someone there for you. There are 4 different ways to contact the various support teams, and no matter what it is, you just come to us, you tell us what the situation is, and we give you guidance. Now, of course, the guidance is up to you if you want to accept it, but it is there for you when you need it, and we do have many legal team members, support team consultants, and those just simply guide you through the way. And as you know, we have many divisions. And once you do get approved, you have access to apply to the various divisions, such as the publishing division to protect your copyrights. If you want to get your music on all the stores, that's the distribution division. If you need different YouTube representation to make sure you're earning on YouTube, and other different types of support, resources, benefits, and services, it is available to you. We even have an executive director services to be the right hand to label owners and managers, and we also have the EVA program, which is our Embassy Virtual Assistant program. So if you're a little bit busy, and if you're in one of the divisions where you constantly have to provide information, such as the publishing division, and you just don't have the time to do it, you can get an EVA support team member, and that service is available as well to handle the things for you without you having to maybe employ someone completely on a weekly basis for your company, or your management company or label, or even you as an individual artist or beat maker. You can actually contract, you can go into the EVA services, and there are subsidies available to reduce the cost in that program. That's been very popular among our clients, especially the ones who are very busy and they need that assistance but don't necessarily want to hire someone on a weekly basis. And that's an optional service. Now, a lot of things within the organization are optional, but there are things that you will be getting that will be core and a part of what we do. For those who are using the representation side of the organization, one of the greatest things that the organization will be providing to you at no cost to you, you will get a certain level of support and guidance from our music industry advisors and other consultants. Now, this is funded by the organization, and you have 5 years minimum of support once you're in one of the representation divisions and you're approved for the organization. This will be funded for you, and it's so great to know that you have someone to go to no matter what your question may be, and we'll get you to the right consultant, whether it's a music industry question, whether it's something about being in compliance with your company being registered, accounting consulting, financial advising. There's a team of consultants that are available to you, but you will have a music industry advisor to guide you along the way of your musical journey, and that is funded by the organization, which is a major support for you. And you will not be paying these services for these people if you're using, of course, they do provide a basic level of service. So depending on the division that you're in, you will get a certain benefits package. Now, as long as you are with the organization in the representation divisions is why they are funding it for you. It's something that is additional to the organization. It's unique. We don't really see this happening when you're using other types of services. And we felt that it's important because there's a lot of things that happen in the industry, and you need to have someone to go to know how to handle that particular matter that's at hand and make sure that no time is wasted and you are getting that professional guidance. So that's extremely important, and that's a big value to our clients. They constantly give us positive feedback that they just don't know what they would do without the organization and the level of support that's given, especially to know that they have an advisor, and whatever they need, they have someone to go to. And that's a big thing that's missing in the industry, because there's a lot of talented people that really can't afford these services. And so we feel that that's a big blessing of what the organization is providing to people, because these are all consultants that usually charge fees for their services, and they are providing their services to the organization at a reduced rate and investing in you as well. So not only is the organization sponsoring you because they are funding these music industry advisors and consultants, but these consultants and advisors are also investing in your career because they are taking less payment from the embassies because they believe in the movement of this positive organization. So we do hope that you do appreciate your advisors and consultants because they are your investors in part as well. Now, you will have access to subsidized services. We do have a lot of services that are available. We have service providers from in many different areas. And what happens is if there's something that you need, always come to us first, because we either have a division that may provide that service at a reduced rate for you, and you're protected, your funds are protected. We have a safe service program, and you won't lose, because sometimes there's people in the industry that pay for services and it doesn't come out right, or they don't get it back in time, or they don't get all their source files, or whatever the case may be. So there is a safe service program, and so you are protected. And the other great thing that's available to you is that if you do have an agency or a company or something that you do want to use a service for, you can always let us know about that service, and we can go and speak to the company and try to negotiate better rates for not only you, but also for other Music Embassies clients if it's a reputable company and a service that may not only be good for you, but also for the other clients. And if we can help save you money in the meantime, that's our goal, because the more money that we can help you to save is more money that you can use to advance yourselves and put toward the biggest expense in any business, which is marketing and exposure, but more money for you to do more projects and do things. So we do help to try to reduce your costs. Now, the next thing is access to representation. As I was mentioning, when you're approved for the embassies, you'll have access to our publishing division, which protects your copyrights. If you're a label and you own the masters, it'll protect your sound recording copyright and representation for it, to get opportunities for it. We have a YouTube division to protect you for publishing on YouTube, your masters on YouTube, and if you own the video on YouTube, distribution to all the online stores. And this is just some representation divisions. All aren't listed here, but these are the core ones that a lot of people are coming to us for. Now, we do have other programs, and you'll have access to them once you're accepted. We have, for example, the MAP program, which is our music advancement program, and there's other societies and agencies that will accept you at a reduced membership rate, and some new programs that are coming into the industry that are going to be providing first and priority access for embassy clients to those entities before they're made available to the general public. And you'll learn more about them. You'll find out about it first. I can't mention it here. So there's always different things that we hear about that's coming in the industry. And we are actually a support for a lot of these agencies. They do come to us for guidance for the people starting these agencies. So and societies. So there's a lot of things coming in the music industry very soon. And another thing too is people want to know, how do you get funded? How does the organization earn? Well, we don't really try to earn from our clients. It costs us a lot more money to help our clients than we do make from our clients, especially depending on the industry that they're in, depending on the music industry, like, you know, if it's reggae or dancehall or African music. The most earning that we see, of course, comes from mainstream, and still it's a very competitive and saturated industry, the industry itself. So we don't really rely on money that we make from the different representation divisions, because that money gets reinvested back into the organization to not only keep the doors open and make sure that, you know, we have this entity to help you, but it also gets, the money's used, and then we have to also do additional fundraising and to create more support resources and benefits for our clients. So we don't really, any money that's earned through something with the clients, such as the publishing division or distribution or any of those things, that goes back to the clients directly and indirectly, because we are creating more programs and projects and opportunities for them. They're supporting the different trainings, and the organization's funding these trainings that usually they would pay for and they don't have to. And also you have to remember your teams that are going to be provided for you that's going to be funded by the organization is even far beyond what we actually make from the client's earnings. Therefore, in some of these divisions, the earnings that are coming in, of course, the clients always get their share, and then there's a portion for those particular divisions that are usually paid for by the entities that are using it, such as the publishing and so forth. There's separate earnings that go to the publisher, not paid by the client. And those earnings, they're not enough to really cover all the support that's provided. So basically what the organization has to do is get funding from other sources. And so we rely on business support. We ask a lot of businesses to support our many positive missions. We do have a lot of community support, people who love what we're doing and they become elite VIP members, and they get these memberships that are supporting the community efforts within the organization for us to provide the education. And that's one of the biggest things that people really love, is that we're educating people to be CEOs of their careers. We're helping you to advance no matter what it is. So you're constantly getting 5 years of support and CEO training to be the best and to make sure not only to start your business in the music industry, no matter what role you're playing, artist, songwriter, composer, producer, manager, record label owner, but also we're grooming you no matter what you're doing as the CEO of that individual field and helping you to advance to whatever your next level is. We do a lot of events that we are doing, some events now, and we have a huge amount of events, from music conferences, concerts that care, different music spotlights, and different type of musical events that we'll be doing, parties in the park, and all these different things that also fundraise for the organization to keep our doors open to help as many people as possible. Currently, we have over 3,000 people on our waiting list trying to get in, and those who are extremely aggressive with coming to the organization and following up, of course, are getting a little bit more priority attention. And currently, those of you who may be working with a current embassy client, or you're recommended by an embassy client, you have priority to get in and bypass that waiting list. So if you are someone who is working with an embassy client, please make sure to mention that, because that will give you priority and you do not have to be on the waiting list. So we do have a lot of people trying to get in from all over the world, because we are the only musical help organization, but we are doing what we can to raise even more funds, as I said, through our business sponsorships, corporate sponsorships, event planning and fundraising. We have our services division we make a little bit on that helps support the organization, and of course our community sponsors for people who go into different support memberships or give contributions and donations, financial donations to the organization. Now, why people are flocking to us? And basically, as I mentioned before, we assist those in all genres, in all industries within the music business. So no matter what it is that you do, we can help you. And you're getting that support and professional guidance, and most of it is at no cost to you, or it's subsidized and it's at a low cost. And a lot of people need that support, because a lot of times the music business may not pay off for a few years getting started. You need that support. And therefore, this is one of the biggest reasons why the organization started. Now, another great reason is we are a huge source for protection of rights. That is extremely important of what we do. We are focused on education. We're an educational and protection agency is the best way to explain it. Of course, musical help. And your career advancement is what's important to us. And therefore, protecting your rights, training you what to do and when to communicate, and be in constant communication with your advisors and your teams within the organization before you make moves is extremely important to protect your rights and your copyrights. Now, as I mentioned, the professional representation is available, but you can just use the services if you don't want representation, but you will pay usually the normal rate. You will not be subsidized. There may be a discounted rate depending on your circumstances, but that would have to be evaluated by one of the um, embassy representatives that may take you into the intake process and go over things with you. Now, remember that our music industry training is very special. It's covering a lot of different areas that we feel are very important. They were created specifically to be a great alternative to, rather than having to go to the university for not only learning the music industry, but also business administration. So they're pretty uniquely created, and we feel that it's extremely important for you to have that core. Now, we do recommend a course training, and if you can't afford the course training, then definitely go into the mini course, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Seminar trainings are okay if you're financially challenged. It's why we put together the seminar training, but we do recommend a better training, which would be the course training, or if you cannot do that, a mini course. But the greatest thing is there are scholarships available, and we'll talk about that in a few. Now, the great alternative is the fact that you're saving time and you're saving money by taking the trainings, because you don't have to go to the university for 4 years, and you're going to be getting not only the training for that, your sit-down training on the music industry, but you're getting additional support through your advisors. They'll be giving you consults and training, and you'll be getting that for 5 years, especially, or more, because there's a lot of clients that stay with the organization beyond the 5 years of support that they're approved for. You can continue, but it's a minimum of 5 years if you're in one of the representation divisions that qualify you for that 5 years of support. And as I said, you will have the music business consulting, you will have access to subsidized professional services, and you'll learn about them once you're in. There's so much support for you. One great service that we offer that's fully funded by the organization for our clients is the training and the guidance that you receive of how to release your music professionally. There's a lot of things that you need to know, because certain things need to happen at specific times, and there's reasons for it, because if you release something too soon, your protection may not be where it needs to be fully, and that could either have you lose royalties or rights or delay royalties. So it's very important that you definitely take advantage of that training. It's all covered by the organization, and the guidance is there with you. Every time you want to do a release, you come to your team and you will get that guidance step by step. And of course, understand why. Everything that we do, we're training you what it is, why this needs to happen, and how to do it, and when. Very important. Now, for you as a label or a management company, if that's what you're doing or you want to become, we do have services for you regarding setting up these different things, giving you guidance, going over things about registering your company, looking for choosing a name, even choosing an artist name. There's a lot of different supports for you and different services that we provide to make sure that you're not spending a ton of money on developing things for a label, and then you find out that the name is trademarked already. So we do have trademark attorneys and other services that are available for protecting the names, and also the things that you need for setting up your company, being in compliance with the government. We do have tax consultants, accounting consultants, and all different types of other support for you. We do have an artist relations and label relations division as well that's there to assist. That goes over development and representation options as well for both. So no matter what you do, there's a lot of support. Now, in order to get approved for the organization, you do have to fit our 7-point criteria. We do have a separate video that goes over this in detail, but I will go over this briefly. You must fit all 7, and each one was created because of clients we've taken on in the past that we feel may have taken away from the clients who really tries. There's others that didn't really do their all, and we feel time could be wasted with them that could have been provided to our clients who are really trying. And that's what this organization is doing, is giving people a break who really need one, and they need that support. So criteria number 1 is, are you serious about the music business, and do you want to be a music industry professional? Not just be in the industry, but be a professional in the industry. Can you say yes to that? Number 2 is, do you want to learn the business the right way And will you be willing to attend training so that way you can get a foundation of what we need you to know and before we invest in you and sponsor you for all the different support that we're going to be giving you for 5 years or more? So are you willing to take that training? And the greatest thing is we are helping you with the cost because there are scholarships through our fundraising that are available from the scholarship committee that will help you pay for at least 75% of that training. So not only are you getting the training and the support, which will give you 5 years of benefits and access to the representation divisions and so forth, but we're also coming up with ways to help reduce your costs for those of you who do qualify for these scholarships. And that's those of you who are new to the business or young in the business, then you will be eligible for that funding. So will you be interested and willing to take a training to learn the business the right way? If you can answer yes, that's great. 3 is, will you be fair and ethical to everyone that you're working with, including yourself? Because the thing is, we're very big on ethics because that's what we fight against. We fight against people who are unethical. We're protecting people's rights, and their rights are usually taken by people who are not ethical. So we can't have you in the organization and you're not an ethical person, because then it will cause friction between you and the legal team, because we're not going to allow our clients to violate the rights of anyone else. And so you have to be ethical. Now, you may not know what the rights are, and that's what we're going to train you on. So if you're doing something that you may have learned from someone else who isn't doing it properly, and they unintentionally violated someone's rights because they didn't have that knowledge, and you're willing to make things right and make sure that everybody gets what they deserve, then yes, you're an ethical person. But if you're like, no, I want to keep everything to myself, even if it means I'm violating someone's rights, then you cannot be an embassy client. We cannot accept people who are unethical. Number 4 is, will you be easy to work with? Some people are very easy to work with. They're open to having the knowledge and the guidance, and some are just difficult. They're not listening. We say, okay, we need you to do this, this, and this because we can't protect your rights without it, or, you know, we need certain things from you. We need you to be open and to learn and understand why certain things need to be done. Some people are like, I know, and they're not listening, and they're still doing things incorrectly, and that wastes our time because we keep having to come back to them saying, please, this is not the right way to do things. This is not a professional way, and it's just difficult. And they're just, some may have attitudes, and so we've put this on our list because we need people who really appreciate what we are doing in the industry and what we are doing to help them, and that are not being so difficult by wanting to do things their way, which may not be the right and fair and ethical way to do things, and just a lot of unappreciation and so forth. So will you be easy to work with and appreciate the strength that you're getting and follow our instructions? We'll always tell you why. We're not going to say do this and do that, but we may need you to do certain things like provide certain information, not release music unprofessionally, and just, you know, be easy to work with. That brings me to number 5. So if you can say yes to all 4 so far, you're going good. You're fitting our 7-point criteria so far. Will you accept our guidance to release your music professionally? We're going to offer you step-by-step guidance every time you have a release. You always have support. So will you accept that and not release music unprofessionally? Unprofessionally means it's not protected. You didn't get all of the information to your teams that need it. You didn't prepare your files properly. You're releasing, you know, you're releasing music and then telling us about it afterwards. That's not professional. That's not the type of clients that we want. We want people who want to do it the right way. And yes, it may take a slight bit longer than somebody who just mix, master, and release, but you have to protect your legacy and your children and your grandchildren and great-grandchildren's birthright. So yes, take a little bit longer to do it the right way. It's not much longer. And if you follow our guidance with our step-by-step training and you get things to your teams, the various teams that are going to need the things from you at the times that we recommend, it won't be a long period of time compared to what you may want to release it. But we need you to follow our guidance. So if you can say yes, you will accept our step-by-step guidance to release your music professionally every time, Then you can continue to number 6, which is, will you show respect and appreciation to everyone who assists you, not only within the embassies, but anywhere? Because you have to remember, in this music business, it's saturated throughout the world. And there's a lot of people who can help you, but a lot of people need, appreciation. My motto, I don't know if anybody else says this, but this is my little creation. I always say, appreciation is motivation. So appreciate the people who are giving you strength, whether it's all of these people and the organization are going to be helping you, or it's a DJ, or somebody from the radio station, or a promoter that lets you go on the show or put your artist on the show. Whether it's one time or continuous, it doesn't matter. Appreciate every strength that you're getting. And number 7, will you maintain regular communication with the organization and your teams? It is so important, because we have people who don't maintain regular communication, and then they come to us and they don't understand what's going on. They're not trying to learn. They're not letting us know what's happening. You have to maintain communication with your team. Let us check your catalog for notes, because we find out about things differently. Sometimes we have to go and research things, and we represent a lot of people, and we have tens of thousands of songs that we represent. So we need that communication, so that way you'll never miss anything. So please maintain regular communication, not only to grow and get the guidance that you need, but just make sure everything's in perfect order for whatever division or divisions that you are using for your representation and your training. So if you can say yes to all of the 7-point criteria, then you will have access to the music embassies. And as I said, there are many different representation divisions. Here are some that are listed here. You can look them over. And then to the right, you'll see that there are services, and there's lots of different services, and some of them are either subsidized or at low cost, or some are even no cost. It just depends. But the services division, like I said, they can be used for people who are not going to be represented by the organization. And if you are represented by the organization, then you will have access to the services division as well, but your services will be at a special rate, because they'll be reduced rate, because they'll be subsidized. So yes, some of them will cost, but it won't cost you, of course, a tremendous amount, because you are a represented embassy client and you are eligible for the subsidies if you are in good standing with your status with the organization. That's very important, that you not only fit the 7-point criteria, but maintain fitting the 7-point criteria as an embassy client, because you're asking for us to invest in you. And it's so hard to get an investor in this industry. So not only are we investing in your advancement, we're your sponsors, because all of these subsidies and support, you don't have to pay it back. The only time that you may have to pay it back is if you breached your agreement, because we're only providing these services for you based on your representation agreement. So if you do breach your agreement, then yes, you will have to refund and repay back everybody who invested in you, because they're only providing these services because you're an embassy client. If you weren't an embassy client, then you would be in the services division and paying full rate for those services. So please make sure that before you go into a representation division, that you understand that we're here to help you for that time period, and you have to respect your agreements and understand all that you're getting from the main organization, not just from what you're getting from that individual division. There's lots of divisions, as you can see: publishing, bookings, management assistance, agent division, distribution division, investor division, label relations division, masters representation division, production division, brand development, artist development, YouTube, beat broker licensing division. There's a lot of different things. Now, these are services over here, and there are fees for it, but like I said, if you're not represented by the organization, you will pay a decent rate. It's not as expensive as what may be out there in the industry, but you'll get professional services. If you are a represented embassy client, you also have access to these optional additional services, and you will pay a reduced rate because you will have subsidies. Those subsidies are only given to you based on the fact that you are in one of these representation divisions for whatever term that you're in. Now, finally, regarding the mandatory training that's required for you to be an embassy client, you must take at least one of the different trainings, and you will get a list. You should have requested the chart by now, and if not, please let us know and we'll give you the link to request the chart. And basically what it is that there are different types of trainings. The best training, the official course, was started, and it used to be that you had to take the official course to get in, but people in some countries and some places, they are financially challenged. So we started seminar trainings, which are basic overview trainings. They're not in-depth training like the course. So you definitely want to make sure you're taking one of the trainings, but if you cannot afford to take the official course, even with the scholarships that are available to you, then you may want to do a seminar training. But what happened was there were some people that didn't just want the basic training. They couldn't afford the course maybe, but they felt that the seminar training wasn't enough. So they've come up recently with the mini courses. And so that's a happy medium. It's way more information than the seminar training, but not as in-depth and not as much as information as the course. So that's a happy medium. Now, you only need to take one of these and be registered in it to get started. As soon as you come in, you're going to get 2 new trainings before you start this one, but you still, if you have a payment plan, they do have interest-free payment plans, so you can go ahead. As you can see down here at the bottom, there are scholarships available and subsidies for the training, and there are interest-free payment plans. So we do have some people that are taking the official course because that's what they really want. They're thirsty for the knowledge. They want to know as much as possible to be the best that they can be. We have group trainings and private trainings, so you can choose which type you want. If you have a flexible schedule, I always recommend take the group. If you don't, then I recommend you take the private. And as I'm mentioning, you can choose any one of the different trainings. You'll have a different video that will go over the training options, but choose what you can afford. You can always have the opportunity to upgrade, and you will have that opportunity. However, when you come into one, depending on the representation division, if you come into, let's say, the publishing division, you will have 2 trainings that you'll get immediately once you come into that division, and those 2 trainings are fully funded by the organization. Then you'll have a break, and then you'll be starting this particular training, but you do have to be registered in it in order to start it, okay? So that's very important, so please keep that in mind, and you can discuss more with your embassy representative that's giving you your orientation to get more information about that. And as I said, please make sure to watch the video, request the video and watch the video that's about the different trainings to help you choose the best training option that's available to you and that would fit what you're doing in the industry especially and what you can afford. So keep those things in mind. Now, you will be assigned to a music industry advisor at no cost to you. They can go over things with you regarding taking your training. And as I said, it's either a seminar, mini course, or in-depth. And remember that you must meet the 7-point criteria to have access to these benefits and to have access to the training and if you're going into a representation division. Now, you can take the training if you just want to have the knowledge, but you don't want representation. That is an option for you directly from the services division. So some things that I'm mentioning to you, they're strictly for if you want representation from the organization, we do require training. If you just want to take the training because you just want to learn, but you don't want or need representation, then that's fine as well. You may not be eligible for certain subsidies, but there could be some discounts available to you. Now, the trainings, as I mentioned, are either in group or private. Group training means there's going to be other people that you're not going to know who are in your group, just like if you're going to the university. And with the private training, they're going to be just you or you and other people that may have registered that are within your label or within your camp. And you can do a private training like that with just your people or you by yourself. Now, for the official course, once you complete that, if you're taking course C, whether private or group, you will get a certificate of completion. There are scholarships and subsidies that are available. For the other trainings, we don't give certificate of completions, but for you, if you're taking certain pieces of the course, we do have a transcript. that you would take. The transcript's only good with us. It's not like it's going to be able to transfer to a college or university, because it's not like that. This is an internal training program. It's actually called our Music University program, which is an alternative to the university. It's not a university, it's just a training program. So please keep that in mind. And let us know if you have any questions about that. And going to this, how to apply. So if you are interested and you want to come into the organization, you love what we're doing, you want to be a part of it, you want to apply for consideration. Now, if you just want to take the training or you just want to use a service, you don't have to apply. You can just contact the embassies and tell us what you want, and then we will invoice you, you make your payment, and you can use whatever service or training that you'd like. Now, if you want representation in one of the divisions and you need that help and support, you want the 5 years of benefits, then what you'll do is go to your computer and fill out musicembassies.org/request info, get the information about the organization. We want to make sure that you've watched this video completely, and then you will have an orientation interview with your embassy representative after you've watched this video, read the information in the email, and looked at any attachments that are in the email. So please do all of that before you make your appointment with your embassy representative. Now, step 2 is once you're pre-approved. Now, this can be very quick. All of this can happen in the same day or 2 days. It's not a long process. Once you're pre-approved by your representative and they say, yes, we feel that you fit the 7-point criteria, you can go ahead, we know what you want, we feel you can go ahead, and they'll tell you, okay, go ahead and apply. They will give you the online application at that time if they feel that you apply, that you're eligible to apply, and that you meet all 7 points of the 7-point criteria. So once that you get the application, you fill it out, there'll be a video on top that shows you how to fill out the form. It's a simple form, takes you only like 2-3 minutes. Fill it out, let your embassy representative know, they'll review it, it'll go in front of the scholarship committee, they will approve or make other recommendations or deny, depending on what it is, and then you'll be notified, and then they'll tell you what your next step is, and once approved, then you will make your training deposit, or if you're doing services, you can pay your retainer, or pay for your services and get started. So if you are going into the representation division, you will make your payment if you're paying in full, or if you need a payment plan, which are available, interest-free payment plans, you would make your proposed deposit that was approved, and then you get immediately started. So that concludes my presentation. I'm thankful that you have taken the time to watch this very long video, but this is very important because you are applying for people to invest and sponsor things in your career. So I do hope that you have watched it from beginning to end and that you've taken away a lot of information from it and that you understand who we are, what we do, and how we help. And we do look forward to being a major pillar of strength in your musical journey. And we're looking forward to watching you grow and advance and just being that support for you, because you're not alone in the industry when you're an embassy client. And we do feel that being an embassy client, a Music Embassies client, is a very big honor because we are selective with who we take on, and we're investing in you not only because of, we don't know what your musical talent is, because we're not trying to evaluate you on your musical talent. We're evaluating you on the 7-point criteria and your character and your love and your want for whatever it is that you're doing in the industry. And we want to help make your visions a reality. And by giving you this support that could cost a great amount of out-of-pocket expense for you, and being able to provide you with our services and sponsorships and investing in your advancement, we do hope you appreciate this organization and everyone within it who's going to be giving you strength. And we do look forward to a positive business relationship with you to help you to advance to that next level and achieve your vision. So please, at this point now, you can contact your embassy representative, let them know that you have watched this video, and once you have reviewed all of the information that you may have received in the email, as well as the attachments, and then you can schedule your orientation and interview. and then go to your next step. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, feel free to email the organization through the Music Embassies website at musicembassies.org/contact, or whatever email or contact person that you have from the embassy. Contact them back and we will guide you step by step as always. Thank you and have a great day.